What foods can you do in the freeze dryer? How long does it take? And how much does it cost? We're going to cover all these questions, so stay tuned. So really anything that has water in it can be freeze dried. The things that you want to stay away from are things that have oils in them. So really any kind of fruit is going to work really well. Citrus is really acidic, so that helps prevent bacteria. And because it has a lot of water in it, it's going to freeze dry really well. Things that aren't going to freeze dry really well are things like peanut butter and things that have oil in them. You can freeze dry meat, but you do want to stay away from oily meats. The more oily that it is, the faster it's going to spoil. So most foods are going to keep for 30 years, especially anything out of your garden or like fruit and veggies. Those are going to keep for 30 years. But if you do meat or you do something that's oily, it's not going to quite keep for 30 years because the oil is going to spoil. I like to do chicken because chicken is going to keep for roughly 25 to 30 years. It's very lean and there's not a lot of oil to it. So as long as you keep it out of the light, it's going to keep for 25 to 30 years. Every food is going to take a little bit different time to get done, and a lot of it depends on the hardiness of the food. So for example, chicken and meat is going to be one of the most hardy things that can get done. And it's going to freeze dry really fast because of that. I've seen meat loads get done in 10 hours or less. But fruit, for the other hand, they take a little bit longer to get done because the sugar especially is going to make it a little bit more delicate. And then once you get to things like pineapple is going to be very delicate. So with meat, you're looking at anywhere from like a 10 to a 16-hour cycle. With apples and bananas and things like that, you're looking at anywhere from like a 16 to 24-hour cycle. With pineapple, on the other hand, you're looking at anywhere from a 24 to 36-hour cycle because you want to be a lot more gentle the more delicate that the food is. And these are dry times that we're talking about. So the freeze time can be very dependent on if you pre-freeze the food or how cold the food was when it went in. Also, it's very dependent on how thick the food is. So these are kind of just dry times that we're talking about. Another thing that's really important is keeping the loads small enough to get them done in about 24 hours. So regardless of which machine you buy, regardless of brand, the most amount of ice extraction happens in that first 24 hours. So if you start overloading the machine, you will get exponentially longer cycles. And it's not uncommon to see, a 72-hour cycle because the machine was really overloaded. But if you can keep the cycles, if you keep the weight of the cycles just a little bit smaller and you can get them done in 24 hours, you'll actually get more pounds through the machine in a week. So let's talk about how much it costs to run a freeze dryer. In general, it's going to cost anywhere from $2 to $4 a day, depending on the electricity costs in your area. If you're in a place like California or Washington, energy costs are going to be quite a bit more expensive. But here in Idaho, I think we pay on the order of about $3 to $4 a day to run the machines. It's also dependent on the size of the machine that you get. The large freeze dryers are going to consume a little bit more electricity than the medium or the small freeze dryers. When you look at the cost of running a machine versus doing your own meal packs for camping, the cost savings is quite significant. So each of these packs would cost us anywhere from $8 to $10 a pack. We're actually doing these for a friend of ours who's taking a trip to Iceland, and she was super appreciative. They are costing her far less than what they would otherwise, and the weight reduction for hiking and camping is pretty awesome. I'll be honest, it's been pretty cool being able to help our neighbor get on this trip to Iceland and save her a little bit of money on the food prep because, buying these meals can get super expensive. The other thing is that buying emergency food storage that is freeze dried is also super expensive. And a machine can easily pay for itself in a month or two just by doing the food yourself. So to recap, what kind of food can you do in the freeze dryer? Pretty much anything with water in it. Fruit and veggies, things out of your garden, are going to freeze dry really well and they're going to last for about 30 years. And then how long does it take? It takes about 24 hours for most loads, depending on the size of the load. And then how much does it cost? Anywhere from $2 to $4 a load. If you have specific questions, go ahead and drop it in the comments. We do try to get back to everybody, and thanks for watching.